the more you people cheer for any given superstar, the more opportunities you're afforded. Why do you think a guy like John Cena, who has admittedly had the worst year of his career, gets title shot after title shot after title shot after title shot? Or why a lethal grappler, why a serious submission specialist like Daniel Bryan puts a smile on his face and saddles himself, belittles himself with catchphrases. Or why a 400-pound monster, Brodus Clay, soils his hands by touching your filthy, ugly little children to get in the ring so he can shuck and jive for you. Or why an invisible child, little Jimmy, is better positioned on the flagship show Monday Night Raw than a workhorse like Tyson Kidd. And nobody's ever been able to attain a modicum of success without you. Except for now. Until I showed up. I have become the most successful WWE champion of all time. Not of the modern era. No, that's another little buzzword that somebody backstage wants you to say. They probably want to put it on a t-shirt. But that's the way you get noticed. You don't get noticed until you start to move a couple of t-shirts around here. If I competed in Bruno Sammartino's era, I'd have been champion for 20 years too. No, I'd have been champion for 30 years. Ooh. Because wrestling one night a month in Madison Square Garden is easy. You never see a Hulk Hogan wrestle TLC matches against a superstar like Ryback. Because he had it easy. I wrestle physically demanding matches on free television week in and week out. So much that my 1 year equals 30 of theirs. And I have attained this success. Not because of you. I am successful not because of you. I am successful in spite of you. Here's some honesty. I watched Roddy Piper smash a coconut over Jimmy Snuka's head, and I sure as hell didn't say, golly gee, I can't wait to go electrify the people of Tampa Bay, Florida. No! Because I don't care about the people of Tampa Bay, Florida. There's good guys and there's bad guys in this world, and make no mistake about it, ladies and gentlemen, I am a bad, bad man. And every time after that, when I beat one of your superheroes, and I don't care if it was John Cena, Ryback, Chris Jericho, Kane, Big Show, Dolph Ziggler, any of the litany of superstars that I've defeated, I wasn't just beating them, I was beating all of you. And for 414 days, that's exactly what I've done. In your face, jerks, I have beaten you. I have stomped you out under my oppressive boot, and I'm going to do the same thing to The Rock, because I don't care if he's back. You all do not get to win. You are losers. You do not get to win. You dismount. The Rock had to hear it all. The Rock wanted to wait until you said everything you had to say. So The Rock knew exactly the kind of man he's dealing with at the Royal Rumble. And now it's become crystal clear to The Rock. You are straight up delusional. You keep mentioning that number 414. 414 days you've been WWE champion. That's incredible. Incredible. The real number, it ain't 414, Jack. The real number that haunts your dreams is 20. They know in 20 days, time's up. You want to change. You wanted a revolution. You say that when you became WWE champion, you rejected the people. No. The
talked about change. You couldn't do it. You talked about revolution. You couldn't do it. You came out and you promised everybody ice cream bars. Ice cream bars for everybody. And you couldn't even do that. You couldn't provide ice cream if the Dairy Queen, Carvel, and Cookie Puss drove an ice cream truck straight up your ass. They have voices. And they love to use their voice. They use it every single night. Every night they use their voice. As a matter of fact, they know something special is getting ready to happen right now. They're going to use their voice. They're going to chant the loudest chant you have ever heard. They're going to chant something that is going to follow you for the rest of your life. They're going to chant. They're not going to chant respect. They're not going to chant best in the world. They're going to chant exactly what you are. In 3 seconds, they're going to chant, Cookie Puss, Cookie Puss.
Be the puppets that you are. He got you chanting about ice cream the same way I did a year and a half ago. Congratulations. They still don't get to win. You don't get to win.
I think that's a good stopping point, don't you? I mean, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the first live edition of Wrestle Radio Network on this Pro Wrestling Saturday weekend. We are currently watching, let's see what we're watching, partner.
We are watching Matt Tremont's return to professional wrestling as he attempts to win back the H2O title from Ricky Shane Page at last November. It is Pizza Simpson checking in with Brian Rails. Let's get into it, my friend.
Well, first and foremost, let's get SmackDown out of the way because, or do we want to start Survivor Series?
Let's go into Survivor Series, and we can lead with that and go into SmackDown because that's what followed, and that'll give you a little time to look through what you need to look through. Survivor Series was coming from Brooklyn this year. I think this was Survivor Series number 35, I believe.
Yeah, man, it's hard to believe it's been that long. They had a sold-out crowd. It was definitely a roller coaster show. To start off the night, we had Becky Lynch versus Charlotte Flair, which wasn't bad.
Do you want to mention the pregame show first?
Oh, yeah.
Okay, so in the pregame match, we got Shinsuke Nakamura with Rick Boobs taking on Raw's Damian Priest. What do you think about that one, partner?
Okay. I know this match was going to end in disqualification because Rick Boogs wasn't taken too kindly. Damian Priest said, don't antagonize me. Rick Boogs' guitar gets broken a lot, folks. And so Damian Priest went to the outside and the guitar got used and, well, disqualification ensued because Damian Priest had had enough. So he broke the guitar over Rick Boogs and he broke it over Nakamura. And that was that. It was disappointing. I mean, it broke the prediction chart for us, but I thought it was kind of funny because it's like this is turning into a Jeff Jarrett type gimmick where the guitar breaks practically every other match, but it was okay.
I would have liked to have seen a little something more and maybe seen an actual finish. We always don't need to see some kind of bullshit finish and everything. And maybe somebody could have went over clean instead of some bullshit. But, yeah, Damian Priest bashes everybody over the head with a guitar. So that was your pregame match. But first, we got Becky Lynch taking on Charlotte, reigniting that long fucking standing rivalry.
I mean, they genuinely hate each other, folks. This is not they're pretty sure they're friends outside of wrestling type thing. No, this is a genuine hatred. So the flavor of the match was great. It had a good pace to it. I mean, they slapped the shit out of each other.
Yeah, you could definitely see that barring whatever how they stand with each other emotionally, they worked with each other a long time, and they definitely get the best out of each other. And Becky Lynch picks up the win with she rolled her up and used the tights.
Yep.
That's okay.
She used the ropes. She used the ropes, and it was just funny as hell because Charlotte tried to use the ropes, got caught by the referee, but then Becky was at the right positioning, and then camera does, the crowd's like, yeah, 1, 2, 3.
Yep. This definitely, this finish worked because since they hate each other's guts, Becky using the ropes made sense because it's like, fuck you, I'm gonna cheat. I don't give a fuck about you. Next up, we got Team Raw of Seth Rollins, Finn Balor, Kevin Owens, Austin Theory, and Bobby Lashley taking on Team SmackDown of Drew McIntyre, Jeff Hardy, King Woods, Happy Corbin, and Sheamus with Madcap Moss in the corner. First and foremost, Austin Theory is the future of the WWE.
He literally is, based off the things that he can do in ring, outside the ring, on the microphone, antagonize the crowd, not antagonize, whatever you feel about the man. He is legit the future of WWE. It's kind of reminiscent of when, sorry to mention this man's name in this man's presence, but when Chris Jericho was doing the whole I'm going to beat every legend thing, Austin Theory's kind of following suit just a tad bit, but, in a different flavor. At least, he's giving it a match.
Mm-hmm. I definitely enjoy Austin Theory. I enjoyed him in this match, and I think the selfie thing is really funny. Next, what I wanted to point out right away when this match started, you already knew that Kevin Owens was gonna walk out on his team. I think his face turn, heel turns are just getting to the point where it's just like, who cares at this point? You know what I mean? Just pick one and be it.
It's so bad. It's not as bad as Big Show yet, but but I mean,
do you remember any specifics from this? I watched it, but I didn't take a bunch of notes.
Here's the pattern that this followed. Raw looked like it was going to get its ass kicked, but as usual, they come against insurmountable odds because I believe, when Xavier got eliminated, and then, it's just like, oh my god.
I hate to say this.
What?
I actually like Happy Corbin. I thought it was hilarious. His stupid ass came running out there all happy and giddy with his dumbass shirt on. That was actually really, really funny. I liked how this played out where Bobby Lashley was really, really overzealous and was really trying to carry his team to victory, and I kind of like how it built to Bobby Lashley and Drew McIntyre facing each other during the course of the match. They had a great rivalry that culminated with that WrestleMania match, but I liked this match. I thought it was fine. I don't know. I just. It's nothing that you haven't seen before. You know what I mean? Like, all these WWE matches, they serve its purpose, and they could always just be replaced with anybody else. You could have just popped in Dolph Ziggler, and it would have been cool, Whatever, man.
I mean, Survivor Series is not supposed to, taken seriously, but it is, the supposed starting point for WrestleMania. But, overall, it told a story, and Seth became your overall survivor because...
Yeah.
It is what it is. I mean, SmackDown had him on the ropes, and then, like I said, Raw somehow pulls it out their ass, and that's the fucking pattern, folks. Sorry, pardon my French.
Seth survived Sheamus and Jeff Hardy. I like Jeff Hardy, and I like him being used in any kind of main event kind of program. So good for him. I don't mind Sheamus. So after he got rolled up, he super kicked Jeff, and Seth ended up picking up the win in that one. In the Rock's 25th anniversary 25-man dual branded battle royale.
Omos looks so dominant, dude. It was like Andre the Giant 2.0.
Yeah. Didn't you just feel like it was kind of dumb? Cause wasn't it Shanky eliminated a bunch of his own teammates?
Yeah. So it's just like a video game, and you playing against like a 7-year-old, and he just like, no, you're eliminating your own team. That's Shanky.
Yeah, not really much to write about here. Not really much to talk about here. Almost picks up the win after the last eliminating Ricochet. He definitely is coming along very, very nicely, and he moves really well, and he's great. He's doing really great. In another champion versus champion match, Randy Orton and Riddle defeated. We'll say the finish there was taking on the Usos. This was Randy's most matches on pay-per-view ever, or something like that. Or this was a big anniversary for Randy Orton. I like the pairing of him and
Riddle.
Riddle. Thank you.
That was, the cool ending was like the RKO out of nowhere, as Michael Cole so poignantly puts it all the freaking fracking time. It was not a predictable RKO where it's like, oh, here comes the RKO. It was like, oh shit. It's just like he tags it. Riddle is not, your AEW. I'm gonna slap the shit out of you, tag. It was just like here, and then doesn't expect it, and wham, RKO.
Not taking away from anything from the Usos. I think Usos are consistently like the team, and they're always. I always count on them to having the best match or the second best match on the show, and even though I don't look forward to WWE shows as much as I used to, I definitely was very much looking forward to this. I believe Uso was going for the splash, and Orton caught him with the RKO.
Yep.
Wild. Great match. I really like the pairing of Randy Orton and Matt Riddle. They're having great matches together. So yeah, Randy Orton and Matt Riddle, Team Raw defeat Team SmackDown, the SmackDown champions Usos. Next up, we got the ladies team, Team Raw, Bianca Belair, Rhea Ripley, Liv Morgan, Carmella, and Queen Zelina taking on Sasha Banks, Shayna Baszler, Shotzi, No More Blackheart. She got WWE'd where she lost her last name. Natty Neidhart, who's never had her last name, and Toni Storm. Good luck, Tony. Your name might be on the line. And first and foremost, Rhea Ripley is a star. Money, 100%.
There's no question that the women's match for me was probably one of the best matches of the night. I mean, even though despite the fact that they've not made up their mind with Sasha yet, and I don't know when they will, but the women, it was more like a malfunction, as God miss you, dude. I mention you a lot in our episodes, but Mauro Ranallo would have said, if he was sitting at commentary, a malfunction at the Junction was Friday Night SmackDown's team. Because there's all these egos and jealousy with Shayna Baszler and Natalya and Shotzi, all thinking of Sasha's the captain. So, the turning point of the match was they let Sasha get eliminated, basically, because they were not on the same page. And so basically, Team Raw, it was 4-on-1. Okay, it was 4-on-1. And somehow Bianca Belair, again, the theme is, here is Raw. They look like they're about to get their asses handed to them, but out of nowhere, some miracle happens and Team SmackDown implodes. And it did. I mean, it certainly looked like SmackDown from the very beginning. The random slap on the chest tags or the back, it was just like Shotzi and Sasha battling one another back and forth pretty much the majority of the match until they decided, okay, let's screw Sasha over, and she gets eliminated, and Bianca's still got the odds against her and somehow manages to fend off Natty. She managed to fend off Shayna Baszler, who is by far, some people have debates about her, but, she's still a good talent. And Shotzi, of course. So,
Yeah, this ended up being a win for Team Raw. I always enjoy women's matches. So yeah, Team Raw, and in the main event, Big E, the WWE champion, took on Roman Reigns, the Universal champion. And I'm not gonna lie, I'm gonna let you have this one because this is about where I checked out. I did about as much WWE as I could handle for the month. So,
folks, he's not lying. It was like 4 hours, like 3.5 hours long. It's no joke. And I think Barclays Center just wanted, they probably muted us because the point is the match was just not. I checked out on that match too, and I know that Roman won.
of course, and I'm positive the match was fine, but I didn't really care. Roman Reigns won, and I just got a little tidbit. WWE has released over 80 professional wrestlers this year.
That's insane.
That's not even including office personnel.
That's just insane.
Think about that. So
80 wrestlers, folks.
that's your WWE Survivor Series report, and just a little off topic or a little side whatever. I don't know how to say this, man. WWE is so boring, and I don't want to be that
uniform.
guy. Yeah,
It's uniform, and it's not okay. It's textbook wrestling. It's not. We're not on the edge of our seats anymore. When it was, and it's not just Attitude Era. Like even back during the golden age of professional wrestling, we didn't know who was going to be victorious. I don't care who people say. Well, you knew Shawn Michaels was going over, or you knew this tag team was going to win. No, we freaking didn't because they had cartoony characters running around, folks. Point is, WWE right now, it's a freaking roller coaster. It's not hands and feet and mentality inside the right at all times.
My friend, I just read that Ric Flair said he will not be dealing with and we're working with WWE ever again because
It's a mess.
he doesn't want to work with Nick Khan in any capacity. And while Rick was on life support, they were trying to get him to sign away his life rights. That's
a no, man.
That's pretty wild. So I don't know. And this was just another one of those shows where it's just like, let's just throw something together. So, I'm sure you watched SmackDown this week. So how was SmackDown?
SmackDown wasn't bad. I mean, it's just like, okay, so again, it starts off, oddly enough, with Kayla Braxton in the middle of the ring, talking about Brock Lesnar and the rumors, about him having his suspension lifted. Yawn. Okay, but then, of course, because they want to throw us for a little swerve here, because Roman Reigns comes out and Paul Heyman and the Bloodline, they interrupt Kayla. And Heyman grabs the microphone from Kayla and says, "We don't do relevancy of rumors, blah, blah, blah." And then Paul Heyman yammers on, and then, as usual, hands Roman the microphone. So, big shocker there. Let's see here. So, Matt and Roman says, "We don't want to give false hopes to these losers. We don't," and he goes on and on and on about basically repeating what Paul Heyman said, but in a different wavelength of repeating. Okay. Next up, Drew McIntyre and Jeff Hardy versus Happy Corbin and Madcap Moss. It's not a bad tag match. Your basic heel versus face team, and Hardy gets attacked from McIntyre, hits the Swanton. Yay! McIntyre and Hardy win a match. Cool. And then, let's see here. Ridge Holland versus Sheamus. Ridge Holland with Sheamus versus Cesaro. Sheamus tried to get involved in the match a lot. Although, surprisingly, they let Cesaro go over the young gun, whatever. Ridge Holland from NXT, recent graduate from that camp, whatever. He rolled him up, 1, 2, 3. And then this one, Thanksgiving Leftovers Throwdown. Rick Boogs with Shinsuke Nakamura versus Angel with Humberto Carrillo. So Angel won because at least there's like gajillion distractions to make this win legitimized, alright? So you had Humberto playing on Rick Boogs' guitar, Nakamura trips, Humberto Carrillo, and then after that, well, Angel wins because of all those freaking distractions. And then Kayla seen backstage with Adam Pearce, who asked him, hey, have you heard from the rumor mill that Brock Lesnar's suspension has been lifted? And Adam Pearce tries to play it cool and says, I've heard no such thing. Blah, blah, blah. I'm the authority around here, and I'll decide when his suspension has been lifted. Wink, wink. If I had the music, dun, dun, dun. That's exactly what it felt like, okay, folks, because it was so cheesy. Okay, after that, you have Charlotte Flair in the ring with Michael Cole. Yammer, 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 blah, blah, blah. Tony Storm then comes out, and then to embarrass Tony Storm, Charlotte Flair shows a clip from Survivor Series as to how she got eliminated and how she's undeserving of my championship. I smell a feud coming on. Wink, wink. You can hear the excitement in my sarcasm. Okay. Natalya and Shayna Baszler versus Naomi and Sasha. Yawn. Yawn. They're now putting Naomi in matches, folks. Yay! Feel the glow. Alright.
Yeah, she sucks.
So, like, the sunset flip into the victory. She just literally, her ring attire is cool and her entrance is cool, but her whole persona is just bring her over to the bloodline already. Cool, whatever. Universal title. Alright, cool. Let's see here. Okay, so then they had a Black Friday Invitational Battle Royal. And the winner becomes the number one contender for the Universal Championship, and this included Drew Gulak, Sheamus, Mansoor, Madcap Moss, Happy Corbin, Shanky, Cesaro. Let's see here. Angel, Rick Boogs, Jeff Hardy, Sami Zayn. Sami Zayn, folks, played a role in this because Jeff Hardy had won. Yay! Let's give a cheer because they're in Greensboro, North Carolina. Cheap plug, just like Mick Foley. Alright, so Jeff Hardy thought he had won, but Sami Zayn had been hiding out, I guess, and then proceeds to throw Jeff over the top. So now Sami Zayn is the number one contender for the Universal Championship. What the hell? Was my thoughts.
Honestly, that'll probably be pretty good, man.
No, I mean, like, what the hell is, like, I didn't see that coming. Like, I was just like, oh, Jeff Hardy won, why? And then Sami Zayn came, and I was like, whoa, cool.
Sami Zayn versus Roman will probably be pretty fucking fantastic.
And then they said Roman, okay, so the last part of the show was, like, Roman, Heyman, and Usos, you see him laughing, and then in comes Kayla, and she tells him next week Brock Lesnar's suspension has officially been lifted and he will be in the ring with Roman Reigns next week. Wow. That's the end of SmackDown, folks. That was Friday Night SmackDown Report.
Sounds a little more the same, but that's alright.
Yes. Alright, so
oh boy.
Here comes AEW.
Oh boy.
And man, I got, something special for you folks to chomp on because, yes, this clip is 18 minutes long, and we're not going to play the entire duration of it. But we will play you.
Gotta give you some of it.
We gotta give you some.
So good.